Hello, this is Ty Williams. This is my reaction video to Intimate Apparel. I liked it very much. What did you notice? Let's see, I noticed the relationship and the interaction between Mr. Marks and Esther, which I thought was very interesting, especially for something said in 1905 between an Orthodox Jewish man from Europe and an African American woman, I thought that was very interesting. Number two, what values were represented? I thought an obvious one was hard work versus sloth, and that was obvious between Esther and George, but also between Esther and Mrs. Van Buren. She was an idle, rich socialite, and she really kind of had no clue about what Esther's life was like, having to work so hard, and how she got by. Another value was the desire that everyone has for love and affection, and every single character displayed it in one way or another in their own way. And let's see, Mr. Marks, he was bound by his faith not to touch a woman, but he studied and was delighted in the way that Esther touched the fabrics, and I thought that was interesting. And Mrs. Dixon was tough, but you could tell that she was tough because she was covering up a heartbreak, and she said, don't let a man have no part of your heart without getting a piece of his. And it kind of alluded to the desire that she had for affection at one point, but she has had to become a tough woman because of how she was treated. Research, the only thing I had to research, really, I understood everything perfectly fine, was the value of $1 in 1905. And I discovered that it would buy about $25 worth of goods in today's money. So, so Esther gave George like $50, which for a poor working person is a lot of money. Diversity, the diversity question, reinforce or reinvent stereotypes. I thought Mrs. Van Buren and George reinforced their stereotypes, the Caribbean womanizer and the clueless rich person. But Esther and Mr. Marks, I think, resisted those stereotypes. There wasn't a talk about the racial dynamic there, and I thought that was interesting. 5, do stereotypes exist today? Of course they do. Stereotypes of African Americans, they're perpetuated by white supremacy that runs everything in our society right now, in the media and entertainment. How do you overcome these stereotypes? Well, you got to tune out of media, social media, turn off the television, and meet real people and work with them, break bread with them, do volunteer work with them, and get to know people as people. That breaks stereotypes. Let's see, questions. Like me, were you hoping this was a melodrama and that George was going to get his comeuppance and Esther was going to be fine? And also, the last question. I blew the last question. I didn't write down a last question, so I apologize. Did you like it? There you go. Thanks.